And then I applied for graduate school. I applied for my doctorate. And my goal in applying was to get back to K-12. So I'm thinking, what degree will allow me to go back into K-12 and to be a different type of leader? I wanted to work in the education industry. I wanted to apply my research of all these years of being in the classroom. I'm like, what degree will allow me to do that and still be at the top of my game? The Doctorate of Education. Hello, bookfluencers. Welcome back to my channel, and welcome to my channel if you are new here. My name is N.HARV, hence the name of my channel and my business, N.HARV, and you're in the right place if you're looking for some travel blogs, as well as book writing tips, and the reason why most of you guys are here, some good old academic content, aka my journey as a doctoral student at Howard University. And today is episode 2 in my Doctor of Education series, aka my EDD series. And we're going to be talking about what an EDD is and why I chose this degree over a PhD. First things first, shout out to those who started watching me and following me because of the first video in this series, and you guys are invested in my doctoral journey. I appreciate that. I hope that I can bring some insight to this particular degree. I want to bring more education and more awareness, actually. I meant to say that, awareness to what an EDD is and the beauty in this particular doctorate. And second announcement before I get into the actual content, I know, bear with me guys, but in the first video, I talked a little bit and then I had the vlog, like I showed a vlog, and I'm okay with that format, but I think I want to separate them. So for the talking videos where you see me in my little backdrop, I'm going to make those like bite-sized videos with me just talking and no vlogs attached. We'll see how that goes for a while. And then I'll have the vlogs in separate videos. So today, no vlog, just a talking video, me talking to you about what an EDD is, why I chose it, and anything else that may come to mind. But in the future videos, you may see a vlog that's a part of the series, or you may see a talking video. It's all a part of my journey, my EDD journey. So don't think I changed it up too much. I just wanted to make sure that the informational videos, that they have their time to shine and they have their own space. And then like my more fun behind the scenes travel and study and college vlogs, they have their own space and their own time to shine as well. I thought separating them may be better, but we'll see how that works. That being said, don't be alarmed. The next couple of videos will be vlogs. I have a lot of like me on campus at Howard, me going to conferences and things like that. I have a lot of content like that I want to get out, and I want to have that a part of the series, but I won't be talking like I'm talking to you right now. I'm going to bounce back and forth between informational talking videos and vlogs. If that's okay with you, give it a thumbs up. We're going to rock it out and see how it works. And if it doesn't work out, then I'll go back to combining the vlogs with the talking videos. Just want to give you guys a heads up. The next two videos will be vlogs, okay? And then we'll go back into I think the next informational talking video, I want to talk about the difference between an EDD and PhD, but that won't be into a couple of more videos. Okay, everybody clear? Let's do a classroom check. Are we clear? If we're good, thumbs up. Okay. Let's get into the video. For those who don't know me, it's important that I share a little bit of my backstory, so bear with me again. This is essential to the story. I moved to Washington, D.C. from Los Angeles, California in 2022 to pursue my doctorate in educational leadership and policy studies at Howard. I graduated from the University of California, Riverside, UC Riverside, with my BA, my bachelor's in sociology, and graduated from California State University, Dominguez Hills, so CSUDH, with my master's in sociology. The goal was to teach at a community college, to teach sociology. That's why I have the bachelor's and the master's in the same subject or in the same major. And my institution of choice was to teach at my hometown college, Compton College. And I was a TA at Compton College for a while. My education journey started in undergrad. Yeah, undergrad. I was a tutor in undergrad. Shout out to Natalie. She put me onto a tutoring agency in, was it our second year? It was in undergrad. And I was like, oh, okay, I can see myself teaching the kids. Now, mind you, I was only a tutor and I did not go to school to get my teaching credential at that time. So I was like, okay, it was a seed planted in the education industry. After I graduated from UCR, I thankfully landed a job at the Department of Veterans Affairs, aka the VA hospital in LA. And I'm like, oh, this is great. Let me put my sociology degree to work in the sense that I was a research assistant. I'm like, okay, that, sociology, you have to research, you have to study the field and the environment and why people have the certain behaviors that they do. Is it because of the environment? Yada, yada, yada. And that was amazing. Worked there for 2 years. I decided not to extend my contract. It was a 2-year agreement contract. And I'm like, you know what? I think I want to try my hand at teaching. So for a timeline, that was 2008 to 2010. I graduated 07, but I didn't get my job until 08 and stayed 2 years. So left in 2010. We all know that time period, like that the 2008 recession was real. I wasn't thinking at the time, I was in my 20s. I'm just like, let's just go take a risk. It's going to work out. And that's not a bad thing. I am a risk taker. I do believe in that, but I wish I would have been a little bit more, a little bit more savvy in the process, but it all worked out. So it's all good. My plan was to be a substitute teacher because I thought and still think that that is a great position, especially if you're new to the field. So you can like see what age groups work best for you, which schools, which school districts. If you're going to be a substitute teacher at multiple districts, like you have the flexibility to move around a bit and to see what really works best with your teaching style, your pedagogy, yada, yada, yada. So that was the plan, right? Be a sub until I can find or apply to a teacher program. Was I in a teacher program at that time? I think I was in pursuit of getting my teaching credential. Was I? Lord, I don't remember. Long story short, didn't work out the way that I planned. But I did have some amazing long-term sub positions to where I literally was the classroom teacher. I just didn't have my credential. And I was like, okay, I like this. And after years of the back and forth of like, should I finish my program, my teacher program? Should I continue the pursuit of my teaching credential? Like, what should I do? Like the CSET, the California State, whatever, the teaching exams. I'm like, okay, I keep missing it, but like 1 point, like literally, guys, 1 point. I'm like, is this for me? What do I do? I decided to take a break. I said, okay, I love my students. I was working at a particular district in Los Angeles County. I said, you know what? I have a great reputation within the district. I love my students. I was working at one school. Like I said, I was a long-term sub, and I literally was the teacher, but I just didn't have that credential to back me up. And I was tired of the what to do. So I said, okay, let me take a break from the US. And I went to teach English overseas in South Korea. South Korea changed my life. I mean, you can only imagine a Black girl from Compton going overseas for her first time. This was my first time not only leaving the country, but living in another country without knowing anyone. Like, you talk about taking risks. I was a risk taker in my 20s. And, that worked out great. That is where I wrote my first book. That's where I started like my first business. Like, so many great things happened from that experience. But lo and behold, my grandfather passed away when I was over there. Then I got like just major homesickness, came back to the States, came back to America, was dealing with reverse culture shock. And then I'm like, still back and forth between teaching, not teaching, decided to go back into the classroom. And I started to get the nudge of like, okay, your impact is bigger, or it's just beyond. I don't want to say bigger because being in the classroom is big. Like, dealing with precious cargo, like people's children, that's a big deal. I will never, never, never not give that the credit that it deserves. But for me, Naila, I said, oh, I want to make an impact where I can be in more classrooms than just one. And I'm like, how can I do that? And it started with my book. I wrote a grammar book, Look Better in Writing, a quick and easy guide to punctuation. I'm like, okay, classrooms are starting to implement my work. So my training as an English teacher was beyond the classroom by way of my words. Like, that was amazing. Like, colleges and universities and K-12 schools were using my book. And I'm like, okay, I want more of this. I love teaching, but also I want to dip my toes into like policy and curriculum. Ergo, I mean, with a lot of lessons in between, obviously, ergo, the Doctor of Education. In 2020, we all know what was happening in that year. I, like a lot of people, had a lot of time to reflect. And I'm like, okay, Naila, what is next in your career? To wrap up the story from a few minutes ago, I decided not to continue pursuing my teaching credential. I instead decided to earn a second master's in educational studies. But that was because I felt the transition. When I came back from Seoul, South Korea, I was like, okay, I am now skilled with teaching English learners. And that became my demographic. And the way that I went about teaching was different. I was back at my same district, back in my own classroom, but it was different. And I won't get into it right now, but I will say that it led me to other ways of educating outside of being in the classroom, outside of writing books, education books, and thought leadership books. I was like, okay, now I want to get into like the curriculum. I want to get into like why and how to change at the top level. So I took another break, but it was only supposed to be a little while. Like that was my intent. That is what I told my boss, etc. And then everybody was forced to take a break because of 2020. And I said, you know what? Let me just sit still for a second. And then I applied for graduate school. I applied for my doctorate. And my goal in applying was to get back to K-12. I'm like, what degree will allow me to go back into K-12 and to be a different type of leader? I didn't necessarily want to be a principal per se or a director per se, like along those lines, but the transition was there. The transition out of the classroom into a leadership role was there. I wanted to work in the education industry. I wanted to apply my research of all these years of being in the classroom. I'm like, what degree will allow me to do that and still be at the top of my game? The Doctorate of Education. And that is why we're here, guys. I had to take you back a little bit in order to bring you forward and bring you into the now. In today's video, we're talking about an EDD, or a Doctor of Education, and why I chose it. Now, I did it backwards a little bit. I kind of gave you why I chose it, but let's talk about what it is. An EDD is a terminal degree. Okay, terminal meaning it's typically people's last final degree, like in the hierarchy of degrees. It is an advanced degree. Some people call it a graduate degree. Some people say it's a postgraduate degree. My personal favorite, it is a practitioner's degree or a practitioner degree. But let's stay on brand here for the sake of this series. An EDD is a Doctor of Education. An EDD prepares professionals, typically those who are looking to be like a principal or an assistant principal or even a superintendent, a director, I said before. It prepares us, these professionals who have been working in the field for a while, to be leaders in the education industry, to be educational leaders. It's a way to apply real world problems. Like you typically have those who have been in the field for a while and they're applying what they've learned and what they want to learn or what want to pursue. Now, of course, it is nuanced. Of course, there are professionals who are outside of the K-12 industry or the K-12 field who have an EDD, who are using it differently. Like all of that is going to be a thing because people are nuanced. So of course, the use of a degree is going to be nuanced, but essentially it's for those who are in the field to apply what they've learned in the field to become a leader or to gain a leadership role in education. I don't even think I mentioned, after sharing my whole backstory, what I plan to do with my doctorate and why I'm still pursuing my doctorate. It's because I want to help prepare teachers to teach writing instruction to Black high school students in order to prepare them for the college entrance exams to have a successful college career and beyond. I'm still working on it, but that's the gist of it, okay? But that's what I want to do. I've learned how to merge my worlds. I am a writer. I am an English teacher. I am an academic. I want to have a more creative leadership role in this industry. And because I am skilled in writing and because I have experience teaching writing instruction, not only in LA, but also in DC. I taught out here when I first moved at a middle school out here in DC. And all of this experience taught me that teaching writing, which is typically a major portion or a major subsect of like a state exam, is where a lot of our students suffer. It's where a lot of our students struggle. And if I can help prepare teachers to teach writing instruction by way of personal development practices and SEL and cultural responsive curriculum, etc., then hopefully all students will experience equity and have a fighting chance in college and beyond. All right, guys, it is warm in my home. I'm starting to sweat. I know you can see it. I apologize, but that is it for today's video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you have a little bit more insight into what an EDD is and why I chose it, and why some of the people that you know, why they chose it compared to another doctorate. Listen, let me tell you this. Any doctorate that you pursue is a lot of sacrifice and a lot of work. So, congratulations to you. But if you're looking for something that is a little bit more specific to your needs and you're like, okay, I'm in education, I don't really know what to consider an EDD. The goal is to make your doctoral journey and your degree work in your favor. You don't have to do anything just because someone else is doing it. You can create your own path or follow another path, a different path. It's all okay. It's all fair in love and academia. If you've enjoyed this video, I would love a thumbs up and share it with someone who may need some encouragement or just need to know a little bit more about different types of doctoral journeys. Guys, I will catch you in the next episode. Until then, happy writing.